Hi, I'm Antonio Centeno, the founder of Real Men, Real Style. Today I'm going to be speaking with you about how to take care of your expensive clothing, how to wash it. I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to wash, clean, and dry your clothing so that it lasts a long time. You guys are spending a lot of money on building your interchangeable wardrobe. I want to make sure it lasts whenever you're taking care of it, whenever you're in, how to get rid of these stains, things like that. Now, this is brought to you by Kirby Allison over at the Hanger Project. And I spoke with Kirby about this article, this video I was going to be putting out, and we agreed this was a great fit because Kirby's hangers help your jackets, they help your trousers, they help your shirts last longer. How do they do that? By pretty much spreading out the stress, especially on the jackets. If you look at his jacket hangers, and there are hangers made out there specifically for your expensive jackets, specifically for your trousers, and these hangers are made to distribute the stress that's put on particular areas of the clothing so that you don't get dimples in your shirts or your jackets, that you don't have to go get the shoulders reshaped on the jackets. So go check out Kirby over at the Hanger Project. He has a wide range of other things that he's gone around the globe, from France to Italy. He's collected and brought together some of the best socks, cufflinks. What else does Kirby have over there? I mean, I've seen him carry knives. He goes across the world, him and his wife Bianca, and they look for the best and they bring it back to their curated shop. But he started off with hangers, and he's a University of Texas alum, so go check him out. Okay guys, so let me go ahead and give you the 7 tips, 7 ways that you can wash, dry, and take care of your clothing so that it's going to last a long time. The number 1 tip, something which somehow eludes most men, is to read the label. On pretty much anything off the rack, it comes with a washing label. And if it doesn't, then you just need to look at what type of material it is, and we can I talk about that a bit in the article. So make sure to go check that. I link to that down below this video. But read the label. Cottons are much more durable. You're going to be able to do a lot with cottons in terms of throwing them into the washing machine, being a little bit rougher when you scrub. When wools, other types of maybe mohair, any type of animal hair is going to, well, let's just say it's made up of protein. It can be denatured by heat. So you need to be very careful with it. What do I mean by denatured? Think of an egg cooking. Once you cook an egg, it can't go back to being raw. So think of your fabric as, in a sense, of being a raw egg, and you don't want to cook it and to change the shape of it permanently. So read the label, know what you're doing. Things like silk, yes, you're going to want to get that dry cleaned. And some items are going to say take it to the dry cleaner, when really they're just wanting to cover their backside and prevent any damage from happening. Not everything, and if you start to understand fabrics, but a good, safe way to follow is to read the label, follow what it says. If it says to wash in cold, wash in cold. If it says to dry on a very low setting, dry on a very low setting, or learn to hang it out to dry or lay it out to dry, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So number 1, read the label and follow it. Number 2, hand wash. So you don't have to hand wash everything, but so many items could be saved if you didn't run them through the washing machine. Think of it this way: every time you run an item through a washing machine, through a dryer, you lose one life cycle of it. And maybe a piece of it, like a dress shirt like this, maybe only has 100 times that it can go through a washing machine before you're going to have to replace it. So think about that. If you only wore that dress shirt for 30 minutes, for a couple hours that evening, and if it's not dirty, then simply hang it back up. If it has a little bit of ring around the collar, well, perhaps just hand wash the collar. If maybe you've got a coffee stain on the cuff, go ahead and spot wash that coffee stain, let it dry, and put it back in your closet. So hand wash when you can. That's going to double, triple the lifespan of your clothing. Okay, so next is to treat stains immediately. So oftentimes we'll get a wine stain, we'll get a blood stain, little things like that, and we wait till a couple days. We just throw it into the laundry bin, and then in a week we look at it. The problem there is that many stains are going to set, and when they set, that means they go into the actual fiber, and sometimes you have a chemical reaction and it can actually bond with the fiber. So what you want to do is and this is what we do in our family because I've got 3 young children, is we have, a stain remover. I think we use Shout, and it's sitting there right. We have one up in our top bathroom. We have one down in the laundry room. So anytime that we notice a stain, my wife notices it, she sprays immediately, and we put it into a small little wash bin if it's up in the bathroom upstairs, or if it's down in the laundry room, it goes in the wash bin as well. Usually sometimes with a little bit of water to keep the moisture in there. But by doing that, by treating the stain immediately, then we help to prevent it from setting. So number 4 is you also want to soak. And I started talking about that, but there's nothing wrong, especially for more durable cottons. You want to be careful on wools with this, but you can soak in water usually about a couple hours to maybe even 24 hours before washing it. And the water in there, it's going to help, pull the stain out just a bit. Now, water without detergent or without a stain remover isn't always going to pull anything out, but stains like blood, actually cold water can help pull it out quite a bit. So we've talked about reading the label. We've talked about hand washing. We've talked about treating stains immediately. We've talked about soaking. Now, number 5, using a clean basin or a clean washer. And I can't tell you how many times somebody contacts me and they say, oh, I've got a rust stain, or I've got something. Well, where did that rust stain come from? It probably came from your washing machine. So make sure that you've got a good washing machine, that you're using a clean basin. Sometimes people take a perfectly fine, or maybe it has like just a few little marks on it, and they wash it in a dirty basin that has been used with chemicals, and all of a sudden they're going to take something that just needed to be cleaned, and actually they end up staining it because they put it into a container which wasn't clean and ready for it. So if you don't have a clean sink, consider just going and getting one of your bigger, I know I've got a large pot which we can occasionally use. Our washing pans or our washing sinks downstairs are not always, they're really old, and I don't like really nice wools. My sweaters, I do not like to wash them in there, so I'll go and grab one of my large washing pans, which is already pretty clean, cooking pans, or cooking pots, and I'll go ahead and I'll wash the clothing in that, or let it soak if necessary. Okay, so also that applies to your washing machine. If you start to notice rust stains on your clothing, it's probably because your machine's getting old, and unfortunately, there's not much you can do but simply replace the machine. To get rid of rust stains, by the way, really quick, you can apply some lemon juice on that and put it in sunlight, and that will help get rid of rust stains. So, number 6, okay, so dry clothing out flat, hang dry. Every time you put clothing into a dryer, where do you think all that lint comes from? That lint is basically being pulled out of your clothing, and bit by bit, it is slowly tearing apart your clothing. So be careful of dryers. If it doesn't have to be dried on the really high heat, then don't do it. Oftentimes cottons are going to be the most durable. Be very careful. Do not put wools in there. Wools need to be laid out and dried on a flat surface. You do not want to hang up wools. Whenever you do this, so what's going to happen if you hang up a wool? One is all the water is going to go to the bottom, and it's going to pull and it's going to stretch. The other one is that if you're holding it up like you've got the wool sweater hung over a string or something like that, then it's actually going to stretch at those points. In addition, you've got it drying at different rates, so you're really going to reshape the garment. Wool has the natural ability to form to your body, and it's going to unfortunately form to how you dried it if you dry it improperly. So number 7 is to be very careful when you're using a machine washer, to wash wisely. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so washing wisely, use a washing machine bag. So you can get these for just a couple dollars. Go to Target, go to Walmart. These are bags in which you put in your clothing, and you may be wondering, okay, is my clothing going to be less clean? No, because the way laundry detergent works is it goes in there and it actually binds to the dirt, to the gunk and all that stuff, and then it pulls it out. So actually putting it into a washing bag is not really going to have any effect, especially if you followed all the steps before and you pre-treated the clothing. I do this also with expensive sheets. So I use Vero linen sheets, and those sheets are a couple $100s. I take very good care of these, and what I do, especially with a long sheet or a really nice shirt, it can get caught up into if you're using an old style washing machine with an agitator, that agitator, your clothing can get caught up underneath, and you can many of you guys have probably had this happen. You pull out your clothing and it's torn. So if you use a washing bag, a laundry bag, just put it all in there. And yeah, it's not going to look like it's evenly distributed. And if you've got a really off-balance washer, you may need to put in two and balance those properly. But that right there is going to save you from basically pulling out your clothing and finding that it's been torn apart. So washing bag, better machine, no agitator if you can. Also, look to set your machine to delicate. Use delicate first. Make it the preset. I mean, if you have to go, you've got something really soiled, perhaps your kid's clothing that has dirt and grass stains, yeah, okay, then you can wash that regular. But for most of your clothing, delicate is going to suffice. It's also going to be less harsh on your clothing. So those were the 7 tips. Number 1, read the labels. Number 2, hand wash. Number 3, treat stains. Number 4, soak. Number 5, use a clean basin or clean washing machine. Number 6, dry flat. And number 7, use a washing machine wisely. So hopefully those tips help. And make sure to go check out Kirby over at the Hanger Project. He's got some great information, some amazing products. If you haven't checked out, he's got an amazing shoe guide, and he talks about how to clean suede leather shoes and how to take care of your shoes as well. So, and don't throw your shoes into a washing machine. It's not going to work. Maybe if you've got running shoes, those will work. But okay, guys, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.